Hi everyone, good evening. Yes. Yeah. So welcome back to the class. In the last sessions, we had a discussion about the broken access control, right? So in today's sections, we'll go forward and try to understand about the cryptography failure. Okay. So I'll just quickly share my screen. This is also going to be interesting and many things we will be learning. Okay. There are many concepts we are going to have a look into it. So my screen visible to all. Okay. So we would be understanding about okay the sensitive data exposure due to weak encryption in the web applications. Okay, how are we going to get access to a sensitive data in an applications when there is a weak passwords or weak encryption has been done, right? The objective is we are going to identify and mitigate the risk of weak encryption method which is used in the web application that process and store the sensitive user data. The action what we are going to perform is we are going to review the encryption implementation in the web application, capture the attempt to decrypt the encryption data using a known decryption tool, and we would be documenting the exposure of sensitive information due to a weak encryption. We would try to see how to upgrade to a strong encryption algorithm, and also we'll see how to secure the data. Okay, these are the key points which we need to remember, and this is what we will be understanding. Moving forward with the slide, okay, cryptographic failure. So the coming to the weak encryption, that would be falling under the category of the the top 10 for OS top 10 vulnerabilities. In that, cryptographic failure is also one of the vulnerabilities. So what happens here? The attacker would be gaining an access to the targeted network and then gaining access from the database. Okay, so before that, we'll just quickly do a recap on the encryption and decryption. So, can you all just tell me what have you understood in the last webinar about the encryption? Can you just recall and update me in the chat box? What is encryption? What is decryption? Encryption changed the actual date into the another format, correct? So we can also make it as the encryption is nothing but the plain text is converted into a ciphertext, not readable format, unreadable format. Okay. And encryption is nothing but converting a simple data into a code. That code is nothing but the we would be using encryption is also like we would be using some sort of algorithm to encrypt the data, right? And the algorithms can be asymmetric encryption or it can be asymmetric encryption. In symmetric encryption, yes, encryption is to convert the data, readable data to unreadable form, and decrypt is reverse of encryption. Good. Encryption is protecting information. Yes. Any other points which you all wanted to add? We can do the encryption by hashing the data. Encryption is used to provide security for that which we transfer data to prevent. Okay, good. Okay. So what happens here is let us try to understand it. Okay. An attacker can get access to the targeted network. The network can be any sort of network, might be on web applications, might be other organizations. In the organization, he will not directly come to your organization and try to steal. Okay, there is a way to get into your organization, might be using the networks. It's basically happens in the networks, right? Applications or the databases, right? The attacker get password data through an app flow. Okay, through the weakness, they would be able to get access to the data. So the attacker tests the credential on other web apps. Okay, so you would have created an encryption. You are using an encryption method. You are using an algorithm. You are trying to encrypt. I mean, you're using a hash value, everything is fine, but still an attack is happening. The reason why an attack is happening after we have provided the encryption, but still an attack happens. The reason how that happens, we'll try to see. Okay, encryption used to protect the sensitive information where a plain text is being encrypted. Okay, and if you want to decrypt the file, then you would be converting the encrypted text to the normal back to plain text. And coming to the hashing value is nothing but the plain text. You would be providing some hash value and it would be something like this, which is not going to be in the readable format. Okay. Here also, if you see plain text is being encrypted, the same thing, the same slide we have it. We'll go ahead and try to understand more in the practicals. Okay, shall we begin? If you have any doubts in the theory process, you can let me. So remember, I would be asking some questions in the end. So try to concentrate, observe it keenly. Let me know if you have any doubts in the labs. Okay, because we would be learning few new topics over here in the labs. So focus is and try to do it. If possible, try to implement along with me. Okay. So same here, we would go ahead with the OF's top 10 vulnerabilities. We have the cryptographic failure. We will go and have a lab. We'll try to resolve the labs. Here we have, let me try to open up and start the machine. Okay. First thing, what you will do, you'll start the machine so that you will be able to get access to the applications. So after starting up the machine, I'll go here with the start attack box. Attack box is the thing where you have an access to the virtual machine. So I'll go ahead with the attack box. That would take a minute. In the meantime, we'll try to understand the theory, whatever is available over here. Cryptographic failures. Okay. So cryptographic failures refers to any vulnerability arising from the misuse, okay, or lack of use of a cryptographic algorithm for protecting sensitive information. So web application would be requiring a cryptography to provide a confidentiality for the users at many levels. Okay. So take for example a secure email application. So what happens when you are accessing your email account using your browser? Okay, you want to be sure that the communication between you and the servers are encrypted. So that way, anybody trying to capture the network won't be able to recover the content of your email address. When we try to encrypt the network traffic between the client and the server, we usually refers to this as an encrypting data in transit. What is that in transit is? Whenever you're trying to transfer the data from client to application, we tell it as encryption data in transit. Okay. And encrypting data at rest is nothing but when the data are being stored at the backend or the database or on the server, we tell it as encrypted data at rest. Since your emails are stored in some servers managed by your provider, it is also desirable that the email provider can't read the client emails. To this end, your emails might also be encrypted when stored on the server. This is refers to encrypting data at rest. Okay, and fine. Here we'll go ahead and have a look into the application. So we have a website name. Try to access the website name. Here you go with the website, web applications. Okay, so I'll just copy this URL. I'll just copy this URL and figure it out. What is the drawback? What is the vulnerability? And then we'll see how can we exploit it and get into the information. So whenever you're working on the try hack me, there is one thing which we need to remember is we need to find out the flag. Okay, that flag can be stored anywhere in your application. So your task is you need to find out, you need to exploit it, and you need to get that flag. Is your task. I'll try to maximize my screen over here. I'll minimize it from here. This is done. I'll try to minimize this. Now I have an application. Okay, here in the browser, I'll try to open the Firefox. And the first thing, I'll try to give the, what is that, the IP address and figure it out, the drawbacks, the loopholes. Maximize it. I'll select this and remove from here and provide the URL which we have selected from the TryAcme. But unfortunately, why am I not able to select it? I don't know. 10.10.70.202, 10.10.70.202 and 202:81. 81 is what? What do you think is 81 is all about? Yes, what is 81? Okay, so I want you all just to come up again with this. What is 81? You're going to tell me. Okay, so there is some sense, welcome to Sense and Sensitivity. There is some application which is being created, and then you have a login file which is being provided over here. Okay, the username and the password. Currently, we are unaware of the username and the password, and we know that there is some sort of data has been provided. So if you have a look over here, the material 1 and material 2s, if you see, okay, so you would be able to get access to the applications. Okay. So we would try to figure it out in the application. We'll try to figure it out what is the drawback being used over here. So I'll try to right click on the page, and there is in the web applications you need to know how an application is being created. So you need to know the HTML code, the CSS code, and the JavaScript functionality, how it is going to be working. So I have a view page source. Okay, right click, and we have a view page source where you would have an access to the source code. And if you have a look over here in the source code, okay, if you have a look into the source code, it has HTML file. Let me zoom it a bit. So yeah, it has a HTML code, title, login, the content. Okay, there are different types of link tags are being provided. We will not get deep into it, but whenever you're working on the ethical hacking, we should have a knowledge on uh, the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Python. Okay, we need to have a basic understanding on the programming languages as well as. Okay, we need to get into networking. We need to know about the networking. We need to know about uh, the attacks. Okay, we need to know about the Linux, and then we need to know about the programming language. Yeah, so we are currently into the login page, right? So we have an anchor tag and login page, and there is something known as must remember to do something better with the database that's stored in an assets. So currently I am unaware with the username and the password. So I would try to know the flaws into my application and get to know the username and the password and try to steal the sensitive information from my web application. So here there is, I got something like must remember to do something better with the database than stored it in the slash assets. Okay. So there is a URL which is provided, that is slash assets. Let me give it on the login page as slash assets. I'm going to give slash assets and see what exactly I would be getting from my applications. See, when I give slash assets, on my login page, I am getting a username and the password. Okay, it's fine. But without the login page, I would give the data without the login page. I'll remove the login page and leave slash assets. See what I would be getting. Yes. So I got an index of assets. So I got what? I got in access to the application. What is this application? Users application. That is an application, the databases. Okay. So I have parent directory. In the parent directory, this is a dashboard I am able to get access to. And then I have a CSS file. CSS file is going to have some CSS related data, console.css, CSS property, designing the web page. if you are aware of the HTML, CSS, HTML would be helping you to develop an application. CSS would be helping you to decorate or design your applications. Okay, so those CSS properties are being implemented. You have icons, all those things. So we'll not get into it. You have fonts, you have images. Let me see if I have access to any personal information in images or not. So images, you have lake images. Okay, nothing. I cannot find any information over here. Water images, I cannot find any information from here as well. I'll go back. Then JS, there is a file, index file of JS. Let me see if I have an access to anything here. Console.script. You can zoom a bit and you can see if there is any username. Password is there, but there is no password or username being provided over here. Okay, I can see the condition, but I don't have access to any of the data over here. So I'll go back again, see with the jQuery. Here also, if you see, it is a condition how JavaScript is being implemented, how the conditions are being implemented. Only I have. So if I want to give a search on username, I would not get anything from here as well. We go back. And there is webapp.db. Okay, so what is DB? Any idea about DB? What might be? Correct. So DB is a database. Now we found out that I have an access to the database. What is database? Database is nothing but storing of the data. Okay. So I don't think so we have time to draw everything. Okay, fine. Database is nothing but the connection of your server, the data where exactly users informations have been stored. So let me see if I have any information uh, are accessible over here or not. When I click on webapp.db, okay, it is directly downloaded. The file is downloaded. Okay, webapp.db is being downloaded. So I'll go back to my terminal and let me try to access this application and see. Okay. So whenever you are trying to work on your database in an application, in a web application, there are various different ways. Okay. So you can use SQL. Okay, for query purpose, SQL stands for Structured Query Language, which is used for query purpose. If you want to do any activity on the database, like delete, update, or modify, or add, those activity would be performed with the help of an SQL database. You also have NoSQL. That is, you can use the SQL database. The data are stored in terms of tables, rows, and columns. Okay, and in terms of NoSQL, then the data are stored in terms of documents, files. You can use MongoDBs and other applications are being used. Okay, currently we would be having an understanding on the SQL part. Okay, structured query language. So I'll just open up my terminal to have a better understanding, like what are the information are being stored. So I have downloaded the file. So let me go ahead and give CD downloads. I'll change the directory. CD downloads and give ls. Okay. Okay. Still not downloaded. Let me download it again and have a look into it. Okay, again, I'm going to the wrong terminal. I have to go to the terminal which is used in the attack box. The try hack me terminal, I have to access it. Let me maximize it. Okay, so here I would give cd space or directly I'll give ls and give an enter option. See here, what is that? Webapp.db. I have downloaded, right? So webapp.db. Let me try to exploit it. That is I found out the data is not being encrypted. I will easily able to get access to the application, that is web app database up to database. And now what I'll do is I'll try to exploit it. I'll get into the using this vulnerability. I'll get into the system and see what has been available. Okay, I'll try to exploit right now. For that, I would be using a code call. As I told you, like if you want to get access to the backend, that is a .db databases, we would be using a command called SQLite 3. Okay, SQLite 3 is a structured query language. Lite 3 is a lightweight data. So I'll use SQLite 3. What is the database name? Webapp.db. Give an enter option. Okay. So I am currently into SQLite. Let me see what are the users, who are the users, who are the what if let me try to see exploit this and find out whether I can find out any sensitive informations or not. So now what I'll do, let me see, as I told you, in the SQLite, the data are going to be written in terms of tables, rows and columns. So let me see whether any table is created or not. So I'll use dot tables. I'll try to search for dot tables with a command called dot tables and give an enter option. And I found out there is a users tables is created. Now to figure it out that user table, okay, now I want to get access to the user table. Then I would be using a command called select. Okay, select everything from the table called users and give a semicolon and give an enter option. So what I'm doing, select is a command which helps you to select the data. What is the data you're trying to select? I would be selecting everything. Asterisk represent that we would be going ahead and trying to select everything from the table. What is the table name? Users is the table name. You're trying to select everything from the table. And when I have given when I have given enter option, you are able to see some sort of data. Okay, you are able to see the data. So you have three different username, that is admin, Bob, and Alice. And their password are being encrypted. They provided an encryption hashing value is being provided right now. Right? Let us see how to decrypt the file. Now, till here, everybody got an idea? Okay, what was the drawback? What was the drawback? And how did we get into the application one by one? Can you all just list it out so that it would be easy? And you can also figure out like whether you have understood or not. You can use your own words. You can think what was a drawback? How did I get to know one application? There's still more things we need to discuss. That is not very much, but few things that is just we need to decrypt and find out what is the password being provided. Okay. But before that, we need to know how did we, what was a loophole? Yes, quickly. So first thing is a cryptography failures occurs, how an attacker would be getting into your data is when you fail to protect the data. Like how do you fail to protect the data? But when you don't give a weak. First is, if you see here, I'll go step by step and we'll try to understand it. When I got into the applications, okay, this was my application in the Firefox. I'll try to open that. When I got into the applications, we figured it out. Yeah. So we figured out that the data was not being encrypted. The data was not encrypted, right? They were easily accessible, and there was a hint which was provided in the login page. This data should have been avoided, right? They must be avoided. They're directly telling that the data would be stored in the slash assets. So the database, they would be in access to the database. So this was a loophole. Okay. Then, and I got to know that, okay, there is something inside the slash asset. When I did that, and yes, the webapp.db was being present. And not only that, I was able to download it very easily without any encryption method. No username nor password, nothing was being provided. Directly, I was able to download it. And then I were able to get access to the application using the SQLite, right? SQLite I had just given and get into the web app.db. And here also, if you see, we could have also like uh, in the tables, okay, till here also, what we can do, we could have provided the security and made a data away from the attackers. They would have provided this encryption methods and might be they would have encrypted the data as they've done right. Okay, but still there is a vulnerability over here. So what we will do, we try figure it out whether there any tables is being created or not. Yes, perfectly. They have created a table. The table name is users. And to know what are the users available, so we were using a select command and we tried getting to the users application and figured out there was a user's name available, that is admin, Bob, and Alice. Right now the password. So there is a password also being provided. Let us try to figure it out how to decrypt this password. Okay, if they're using a strong encryption, then I would not be able to decrypt. If they're using a weak encryption method, okay, if they're using an outdated algorithms, then it would be easy for me to get to know the password from here. So I'll try to copy from here. Copy. Hopefully, I will be able to copy, and I would search for Crack Station. Okay, I would go ahead and search for a website. Oh, yes, Crack Station. Okay, Crack Station is one of the website. It's an online password hash cracking website. Okay, so MD5, we would have come across with this word called MD5 hashing method. Okay, MD5 is the oldest hashing method. Okay, it is an outdated hashing method. So if anybody are using that outdated hashing method, it would be easy for an attacker to know and to decrypt the data. So I would just provide the value from here, whatever I have copied from my terminal. I'm just going to paste it over here. Okay, no salted hashes. So they're telling you cannot decrypt the file if there is a salt value being provided. Salt value, if you recall, it is a random value which is being generated. Nobody will be able to figure it out what is the random value. So that is why a salt value is very much required when you try to encrypt the data or when you try to hash the value of it. Currently, there is no salt value is provided. So I'll go ahead and give I'm not a robot and then I'll crack the hashes. And if you have a look over here, so this is a hash value and this is going to, they're using what type of algorithm, MD5 hashing algorithm, and this is going to be the result. Okay, I'll just copy the result from here and figure it out, okay, whether it's working or not. Going back again to my application. I can minimize this. Okay. What I'll do is, I'll go back here, and there was a login file created, right? In the starting, we had seen there was a username and the password. So in the username, I'll go ahead, there were admin, Bob, and Alice. So I'll give admin, and the password, which currently we have decrypted, right? That password, I'll just paste it over here. I'll just paste it, that password, and click on login. Okay, I think I have. And the password, I'll try to paste this. Hopefully, this is not giving me the updated one. Okay. IOP. IOP. Yes. Now when I click on login, yes. Okay. Now I were able to successfully log in. So it is telling welcome admin and well done. Your flag is. So this is what I was talking about. So I can use this flag and I can use it to complete my lab. Here, if you want to add a user, okay, if you want to delete a user, you can go ahead. Now I am able to get access to the database. See here, you can go ahead a user if you want to delete any user. They are different types of user are there. See here, Alice, Bob, admin, currently admin, I have logged in, right? And then ASDFA. So I would go ahead with Alice and try to delete the user. Okay, now I would not have an access. Alice, delete user. If you want to reset the password, you can do any activity at the back. Understood? Everybody? What are we doing? How did we exploit into an application? Can I get an updates from you all? Understood? Shall we go ahead and try to resolve this lab? Okay, can you tell me the injection library? 1 minute. What was the mentioned directory we were using at the start? What type of library or directory we were able to get into the applications? In the URL, we had given one directory. Can you recall and tell me what directory we were using so that I had an access to the web app application? Please recall. Correct. So we were using slash asset. Okay, that was the first loophole which where we were able to get into the application. Now, after navigating to the directory, what was the where did you find the sensitive data? So once you got into the directory, where did you find the sensitive data available? In which might be, yeah, in which directory you found that the sensitive data is available? Correct. So we were using webapp.db. Okay, webapp.db was the directory where sensitive data were, case sensitive or sensitive data were being available. Correct. One more thing is, Okay. What type of hashing algorithm were being used? Okay, so we have enough time. What I will do is I'll just go forward. We'll try to resolve another lab cryptography. We will see John the Rifle also a good one. Let's see. Okay, so let us try to understand the simple lab. Okay, so I would try to terminate. So whenever you have done with the mission, make sure you terminate it. Only then I would be able to get access to the next mission. Okay, so I would go ahead and try to. I think start the mission. Okay, John the Rifle. Okay, what is this is all about? This is one of the most well-known, well-loved, and versatile hash cracking. Okay, when you want to crack the hashing values. So John the Ripper is one of the tool which would be doing it. Okay, John the Ripper is one of the most well-known, well-loved, and versatile hashing cracking tool out there. It combines a fast cracking speed with the extraordinary range of compatible hashing types. And what are hashes? As we all know, it is one dimension. It is random values are being generated. Okay, they would not be reversible, and there are different types of hashing algorithms are being used. This we already have discussed about it. We'll try to go over here. We'll try to do the hashing because this would take some time. Let me try to open this. Hmm. Let me try to open it in the new tab and have a look on this website. Oh, and that again here, the hashing one. And I would just go ahead and try to use the shatter.io. This is also one good practice of doing an hashing methodology. Okay, can we answer some few questions? So, what is this output size? Okay, output size in byte of a MD5 hash functions. Can you recall what is the size of the MD5? No idea. I'll just move back to the slide again. You see over here. Okay, so you would be having 128 byte bit, 128 bit, and 16 byte as a MD5 hashing method. Okay, and similarly, you have 256 SHA-1, SHA-1, SHA-2, SHA-256 we have, right? So it is a 256 bit. So this is 128 bit. So here the output size is 16, right? 16 byte. Yes. And can you avoid hash collision? Yes or no? A hash collision would not be happening. So just no. Okay. If you have a 8-bit hash output, how many possible hashes are there? If you have 8-bit hash output, how many possible hashes have been there? We'll go and do an hash method, 8-bit value. Okay. MD5 online hashing tool. Here you provide a hash value of it. Okay. So now if you 8-bit, we were telling, right? 2 to the power of 8 is 2 to the power of 8, 256, right? So we would be having a hash values of 256. We here uses of for hash. So here hash value and the password. This is the password. You will be doing a hash value out of it. Let us try to do this. So I'll just copy this hash value from here I'll use a MD5 hash values. If you want, I would just copy and share it in the chat box so you can have a look into the hashing method as well. Copy this password from here and go to MD hash values. So I'll try to replace this and try to generate the values. Okay, if you generate, this is going to be my hash value. So let me have a look. See, so can you all just give a try on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and do a hash value and generate it? Okay, we can do this. Crack the hash using the rainbow table manually. So I'll try to crack this hash value. Okay, using the crack station we have it, right? So I'll use a crack station and try to provide this and crack the hashes. Basketball. Okay, we have a basketball as an value. So I'll go ahead, try to use a basketball, crack the hashes, and I would just use this and submit it. Okay, can you just use some online tool and try to crack this word and tell me what would be the answer for this? I'm sharing it in the chat box. So somebody, any one of you try to enable to paste it. I'm unable to do it. To de yeah, okay. Try to uh, what is it? Crack this hash value and tell me what is the result. What exactly the result you're getting? Make it quick. We just have a few more minutes left. Quickly. You can use crack station. Quickly, you can open up a crack station which is available online. Okay, and copy this hash value and try to crack the hashes and find out the result and let we cannot be able to copy it. Is it so? Can you just okay, instead of giving control C, okay, select the code and you have the three dots, right? From the three dots, are you able to copy it? Try out that way. And then you can just copy this here. This is happening. So in the three dots, try to copy it and let me know. No copy option available. Okay, fine. So let me try to crack it from here. I'll use crack hashes. Okay, there's some issues. Over crack hashes. I think I have to use a different website to do this. Okay, just take a screenshot. Okay, take a screenshot of the score and let me know the answer in the next class. Okay, what type of method you would be doing, where, what is the issues, everything. You can go ahead. Uh, you can use any online tool. Crack this password. I mean, crack this value, and you're going to tell me in the next class. Take a screenshot and leave it. Yes, it is showing. It's same for me also, but we need to use some online tools to do that. Okay, give a try. Find out any online tool, just give MD5 or any hashing tool. Okay, try to give this data and try to submit and see. Okay, fine. I would just stop sharing. Let me know if you have any doubts till here. Everybody understood? Mm. Okay, what the one which you have shared it, fine. I am not able to see the text now. It's normal readable format. I'm not going to, you're not going to generate a hash value. You're going to crack the hash value and you're going to tell me the text. By restart device can possible for prevent attacks from cyber. No, not really actually. Okay. Sometimes restart works. It's not always. The drawbacks are going to be in your applications. Okay, if the system working slow, that means there is a issue with not with the restart. There is a issue with the system. It's not up to date. The components or the operating system is not up to date. Okay, so what you need to do, you need to replace it. Okay, might be any application which you have installed. It might be vulnerable, and that is causing you to make the system slow. So those are the things you need to do. Not really the restart would be working for the to prevent from the attacks. Okay. Updating would be working. Okay then, so I think we can wind up the class for now. We'll meet up in the next class. Okay.